No, actually, because the computer and stuff isn't showing up from... It'd be like right here next to me, wouldn't it? Pretty much. So that's stuff that I have yet to interact with, or I'm back in a different area maybe. Okay. Charlie.
Hey, Charlie.
Yes.
I got another locked door here.
Not bad, Joyce. That's Serene's office. Let me just unlock that bad boy for you. Serene's got access to the CFR chamber from his office.
Unlock
I'll
my
meet you
book.
there. Ah, there.
So... Oh, right, I see. So is this taking place after the conversation that was interrupted?
Gone, but he left behind the one thing I needed.
The CFR. No? What's this?
We have a mission.
Ah.
Park the chopper.
Ready to lift off in 15, sir. What's the profile?
Full tactical complement. And we're going to need a tech squad for assembly.
In my book.
I'll brief them on the way.
Copy that. Good hunting, sir.
Women's soldier. Women's. Cool. Untitled note. I have left this message here for you to find so that soon, when the time comes and I ask you to choose, you can do so with your eyes open and with some hint of understanding. I have no secrets, and the only things I choose to omit are the ones that you, in your current limited state, would not be able to grasp no matter how hard I try to make you understand. I have walked down the same path you are now on. Once, from your perspective, a long time ago, although time no longer has such meaning to me, I too came in contact with a time machine. In my case, it was not a man-made device, but a natural one, in a cave. It should come as no surprise, really, that such things exist, much like natural nuclear reactors do exist, such as the now-defunct ones at Okla, Africa. After all, the Mayor Joyce field has its irregularities. I too became Chronon active. I too developed Chronon syndrome, and in time I too lost control and became a shifter, because at once everything and nothing was everywhere and nowhere. Died countless deaths and was still alive, my every probability, every possibility happening at once. I promised I would not lie, and thus I tell you, the noise and the pain and the rage were more than anyone could suffer and not go insane. I burned in this fire for a long time. There were brief moments of awareness in this endless nightmare, different versions of certain key moments in my life that I found myself reliving again and again, trying to make things right, like a puzzle, on and on and on. I am convinced that the stutters and the end of time saved me, for those were the only places, the only times where I could even briefly stop and rest and slowly find focus and control again, and ultimately master this state. Not emerge from it, not to be cured, not go back to what I was before, for there is no such thing, but to learn to be in one place and everywhere at once. My perception is altered, like that of someone who has seen a perceptual illusion, and discovered that the picture is both a young girl and an old woman at the same time. Once you see them both, you can never not see them. We are such limited beings, we play with just one piece, on just one square, on an endless chessboard, just one life. This is from Hatch, I'm pretty sure, by the way. One timeline in an infinite multiverse of possibilities. Am I an exception? The only one who has found his way to the other side? Or is it just a shifter's brief dream before a stutter? Or is this just a shifter's brief dream before a stutter collapses? There are other shifters, you, your best friend who is now your mortal enemy, Dr. Kim, others, some of whom you know. It doesn't matter who, because they are gone, and when they emerge, if they ever emerge, they will not be who they were, just as I am not who I was before. I have done my part in helping you all achieve this state. If time is an ocean with a frozen surface, then the stutters and the end of time are holes in that ice, opportunities to come up for air. I have a plan. It's already in motion, and it would be futile to try to explain it to you, like trying to explain 3 dimensions to someone who can only see one. But make no mistake, I do not look down on you. I strive for humility even as I shift this world from one state to another. I will make this possible. I stand in between. I don't see myself as a gate. I remain humble. I'm something smaller. A hatch. Dun dun dun. So what's this question then that he's supposed to be asking me? Because he didn't ask anything there. He was just like, hey, bitch, I'm like gonna tell you shit and shit. I'm like, yeah. Oh, come on. Fucking hate when they do shit like this. Ugh. Don't automatically trigger a cutscene thing when you go near something. phone.
My office alarm went off. Is that you skulking around, Jack?
Fuck you. I'm done playing games. I'm here for what you stole.
Yes, of course. The CFR.
Steal my boot.
If you understood just how much depended on that, you'd leave it alone. But I know you don't care.
You're right. I don't. And it looks like you're not here to stop me.
Yes.
Nah.
Yes, everything will play out as it has to play out.
Cool.
I'll see you very soon, Jack.
Wonder which types of phones they're using. They're all massive. Windows phones? They look like Windows phones, judging from the layout. What's with the significance of the arrow on his pullover? And what are they planning to do there? The only person still there is Amy.
I'm done dancing your tune, you crazy bastard.
And they have the other, well, I suppose they have the other time machine, but that's the point, is the other time machine. He doesn't need it. So... I killed her, Clarice. I smashed her face in and it broke my heart. I should have done it sooner, before she fucked us all. But of course it's too late. I should have done that before she activated the lifeboat. And before she killed me. Because that's what she did. She and Jack destroyed my treatments. She might as well have put a bullet in my heart. How long has she been working with him? How come you didn't catch her, Clarice? Why, hello, Clarice. Aren't you supposed to be on top of things? I see these people in my building, safe only because I keep them safe. They work for me. I pay their salaries. I see how they look at me. I know what they're thinking. Like saving the world was for the faint of heart. How much of her poison did she spread before I stopped her? Fucking Sophia. Forget it. It's done. I'll deal with it all. But I don't have time for this. I have to get to the chopper. Make these people fall in line, Clarice, and make sure the lifeboat is in order. I don't know if I'm coming back, but if I do, I expect everything to run right. Get it done, Paul. Do my butt.
It was just a couple of minutes between stutters.
Cool.
The countermeasure was Paul's prize. Everything he built was based on Will's device. His plan depended on it. You better believe I look forward to taking it from him.
I'll stutter you, baba. That's the thingy bob, isn't it?
What happened to you?
Oh, that's the one that
You ran into that creepy thing.
that's the one that Paul shot, isn't it? And there's his
Only one of Serene's treatments survived the explosion.
treatment thing.
His time was running out.
So was everybody else's.
No, not their time. Time itself was running out. Right, that's a long one. Ugh. And it's multi-stage. You know, I know that this is the way they do it in the real world, but in games I'd really appreciate it if they put the oldest ones at the top so you can read them in chronological order. Paul, we now have finalised the plans for acquiring and transporting the time machine core from the university lab. Your instructions are quite clear. We won't actually move in until your younger self has entered the machine, and the men will try to take the Joyces alive, with the understanding that Jack Joyce in particular could be a threat, and neither can be allowed to escape under any circumstances. I'm still quite uncomfortable with all this, Paul. I understand your reasoning, and I know the stakes are high, but I don't want to see anybody hurt. It's antithetical to my role as a scientist, and I wish you'd reconsider. Surely there's a better way to resolve this. Moral implications aside, the loss of Dr. Joyce's expertise alone would be a great blow. If everything goes smoothly and quick and quietly, we will transport the core directly to the Monarch Tower via ground route. If there's commotion and it seems there's any risk of detection, we will instead airlift the core to our dry docks operation and then move it discreetly from there to the HQ. The construction of the new time machine frame at the top of the Monarch Tower has been finished since last year. Once we have received the core, it will be installed into the time machine per your orders. I know you don't intend to use it, but even with the limitations the nature of time travel imposes on us, I have to say it seems like a great waste to not take advantage of such a resource, both from a strategic and a scientific point of view. Dr. Sophia Amaral, Head of Research. Sophia, I understand why you would feel that way, but this isn't something I take lightly. It's my experience that time travel only complicates things, and while my own trip through time has given us great opportunities, it's also set me on this path. I want to control it, not use it. That said, I want to have the machine ready to use for emergencies. My foreknowledge of future events will end very soon, and it might prove to be useful to have the option of obtaining more detailed information from the future. Obviously, given that the furthest you could go back is the machine's activation at the university, visiting the past seems fairly useless. Also ensure that the machine is heavily guarded at all times. Nobody is allowed to operate the machine besides myself, and I want the corridor to remain undeployed unless I give specific orders to the contrary. As for the Joyce brothers, I intend to give William the option of joining us if possible, but I know him. He's a very stubborn and unstable man, and I don't know if we could ever trust him. I don't need to remind you that he built in that ridiculous little workshop with very limited resources a device that broke the local physics at ground zero and caused my Chronon syndrome. I don't intend to give him a chance to show us what else he could do if he decides that we're a target. That, along with the visions I have seen. There are certain sentimental reasons that make me wish I could let William live, but I doubt that he makes it possible for us. As for Jack, I'm not too worried about him. It took me a long time to master my abilities, so Jack shouldn't be a major problem unless he manages to use stutters to escape the area. Luckily, stutters should be very rare in these early stages of the fracture. Still, I've come too far to take any chances. I'd prefer to take him alive, but nothing can be allowed to put our plan at risk. I'm sorry to have to involve you in something like this. I know it's not what you signed up for, and as I said, I don't expect you to be personally involved with that part of the operation in any way. I'm not particularly happy about this part myself, and I wish I had better options. But our circumstances are as they are, and I have come too far to falter now. I hope you understand. What changed him then? Paul, yes, of course. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to add to your burden, and I know that these are hard decisions. You can count on us to proceed as planned. I know you're exceptionally busy now that the time is almost upon us, but I was hoping you'd have time for dinner. Oh, boy, maybe they really were going steady. Sophia, please update me on our progress with the time machine core relocation. Where are we with this? Thank you. Paul, don't worry about it. We're on schedule. Your time machine core from the university has been transported to the HQ and is currently being installed into the new time machine frame we've built for it. You'll have direct access to it from the CFR chamber as requested. And no, before you ask, you can't actually access the CFR chamber from the time machine. That elevator can only be activated from within the chamber, so no one working on the machine can get to the CFR. I thought you'd appreciate that layer of added security. I know how important it is to keep the CFR safe. Anyway, I know you don't actually intend to use the time machine, but should you ever need it, all we need to do is deploy the corridor. It's actually all hooked up now. But we're still running to final diagnostics. Tech should be ready with it before the gala's over. Dr. Sophia Amaral, head of research. So, wait, if they can't trigger it from within the thing, how do they get into it? Huh? What? That makes no sense to me. Saying you can't trigger it from in, it's hooked up to there, but you can't trigger it from in there. What?
Alright.
Yes. Come, baby, come, baby.
Paul's been a long time running Monarch in secret.
What?
Probably didn't help with that whole disconnected from reality thing.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a bit of a pain in the ass. I wish my memories about the end of time were clearer, but it was anything but a clear time in my life, and the world was such a jumble, a frozen mass of different timelines crashing together. I was running for my life the whole time, trying to avoid the shifters. Not an ideal state of mind for gathering intel. And it didn't help that she kept chasing me, trying to kill me. Beth Wilder, one of my own people. It was her all along. Even then, trapped in the end of time, as little as I understood about what was going on, I could tell she wasn't like me. That she didn't have the powers I did. I knew she had some kind of technology that kept her going in a suspended hell. Of course, I had no idea it was a device that I would eventually have my people develop. I suppose I should appreciate the irony that it was her Chronon harness, my own Chronon harness, that it gave me the idea for the lifeboat protocol. Right. The idea that our technology could let humanity survive the end of time. I suppose I have to thank her for that. And she paid for her sins, in the end, but she left her mark on me. I know the time to pay for mine is approaching quickly, but not just yet. Back then, when Wilder and I played our game of cat and mouse at the end of time, if I had an ounce of the control of my powers that I do now, things would have turned out very differently between the two of us. She was strong and had the training, and I was young and weak and scared. Even so, my abilities gave me an edge. I was lucky she didn't have the full striker game. She was the one with the upper hand. I didn't learn I didn't learn to properly control my abilities until learn to learn. Seriously. In those days, they were unpredictable and operated on instinct. Control didn't come easy. I can't help but be aware that this doesn't seem to be the case for Jack. His mastery has grown by leaps and bounds. It's just because that's the way he's always been, fast on his feet, bold and adaptive? Or is the fracture affecting him too? I thought we could contain him. It's cost us dearly. It's not a mistake I will make again. Yeah, sure. Good luck with that. It's not like you keep repeating that mistake or anything. It's not like I'm the main character or anything and I can be like, Huge. More reading. Well then. Paul, Martin. I know you've both been arguing that the quantum ripple causality research subdivision has great potential, and we should keep it funded. I must once again implore you to reconsider. I'll be the first one to admit that the technology is impressive. The fact that the Doctor's morphine and Rangers... Seriously? Morphine and Rangers. You really went there. Okay, can actually track the consequences rippling out from minor shifts within the Mayor Joyce field is incredible, and the level of informational detail they managed to obtain is amazing. But here's the thing, they've been at this for 2 years now and they have not produced a single useful result. Yes, we can trace actual events from their small inception point to the actual consequences, very much in keeping with the basic chaos theory concept of the butterfly flapping its wings, but, well, so far. Every single thing that happens in this universe is the result of such a chain of events. Being able to see the chain offers no real insight into anything due to the very randomness of the process. Furthermore, it's utterly misleading. You could say that some tiny event or tiny decision in my life yesterday led me to writing this email. And that's technically true, but so did some tiny event or tiny decision in my life 15 years ago. It's all a change. Speaking of which, for those who are at all interested in the idea of chaos theory, one of the most poetic and easily comprehensible manifestations I've ever seen is in the film The City of Lost Children with Ron Perlman, who speaks French in that film, even though he can't speak French. He practiced until he sounded right. Anyway, there are several scenes in that show one tiny little thing starting and how it can escalate and lead on to other things, like how a single tear from a young girl can cause a steamliner to run aground. Yeah, seriously, it's a really good film and you should watch it. Anyway, the event yesterday didn't take place in a vacuum. It didn't come out of nowhere, so that's the point. We have no control over it, we don't get to direct it, and we get no useful information out of it. Also, have you actually seen the reports they generate? From a technological point of view, the way they managed to automate their analysis of the fluctuation signatures within the Mayor Joyce field is impressive, but again, it's all meaningless babble with no practical applications. Their personal remarks on the reports are even worse. With all due respect to Ron and Terry and their indisputable technical expertise, I don't know what they're doing, and I'm not sure they do either. It's like they're coming up with stuff at random. The above outlines my concerns as to the futility of the entire process, and I suspect that... No, that's process, not process. Process. Like in your computer you have a processor. And you don't have processes either, you have processes. And I suspect that may not be enough to sway you. Yeah, how fitting. But I have one final point, which I think you should consider very, very carefully. The online... Freaking A. The entire program is an unforgivable waste of Monarch resources. I don't mean money, although the entire quantum ripple causality research subdivision is costing us millions and millions of dollars. But that doesn't really matter because I know we can afford that. However, there's a more vital resource they're consuming. Each time they fire up their rig and delve into the Mayor Joyce field, they utter a huge amount of chronon particles. Those are a finite resource, and as you know, we are projecting that the ground zero's yield will rapidly diminish as the fracture takes hold, which will happen very soon. You may not understand what the real impact of this is, so let me put it to you in practical terms. Every single time they detect and analyze a quantum ripple, it costs us a week of potential lifeboat runtime. Minimum. Given Monarch's primary purpose and the total lack of useful results, I believe that's a luxury we cannot afford. I recommend shutting them down immediately or at the latest during our next reorganization.